Hello, this is the Steve and we are back with another Batman 66 episode review. Today we'll be reviewing the part 2 in the King Tut debut episode called The Pharaoh's in a Rat. So, with that out of the way, let's get into the actual video. Recapping on our last episode, King Tut, a notorious arch-villain the Batman and Robin and Gotham police have encountered with the past, has returned and is attempting to reclaim Gotham for his lost Egyptian land, sort of thing. And to accomplish this, he plans to kidnap millionaire Bruce Wayne, which he has. Bruce Wayne has managed to escape a runaway ambulance, but is slowly going towards a cliff where he will presumably fall to his death. How is he going to get out of this? Well, let's do the usual opening sequence, shall we? After the usual title sequence, we are now back to where Bruce is, slowly going towards his death. After running through signs, he manages to, at the last minute, jump and grab onto a pole whilst the thing he's in goes off the cliff. Just as that happens, we then cut back to King Tut and his female accomplice and a whole bunch of other female servants essentially watching TV. The woman is upset when King Tut switches from a racing show to watch the news to find out about more about Bruce Wayne's capture. Batman says that he has saved Bruce Wayne, and he plans to go to Egypt to do more research on Tut. And Gordon says, "But what do we plan to do in the, with your absence with this madman?" And King Tut gets upset about it, but the woman kind of defends Gordon, telling about his time as a professor, which he gets mad, orders his men to come in and take her to the dungeons, where she screams her head off, and is pretty dark and twisted. I will admit, which I'll explain more when we get more into the character analysis, character in the review. Realizing that people think he's mad, he plans to once get his hands on Bruce Wayne yet again. And how Victor Pavorno slightly gets more crazier is what is charming about this character, and will be for later episodes. So I will admit, he's slightly getting better in this second part of the episode. Robin meets Batman in the Batcave and says, "Do you really plan to go to Egypt?" He says, "No, it's a simple ploy to capture King Tut." And they plan to use Bruce Wayne yet again as bait. And what essentially happens is they quickly sent Aunt Harriet out of the house on a trip so she wouldn't be harmed. Which again goes to show just how much Bruce Wayne really cares about Aunt Harriet. She sees her as family, as in a way Dick is family to Bruce. They then essentially set up a Bruce Wayne dummy. Yes, you heard me right, a Bruce Wayne dummy on the couch, and a cop coming with a very bad Irish accent talks to Alfred, and essentially tells where Bruce is. And then some gas comes out, knocking out Alfred, and he uses it to knock out the dummy, and he quickly runs out to get the henchman. It is then revealed that Alfred was never knocked out, but took a sort of pill that prevented him from getting knocked out. He then switches the dummy with the real Batman, and they quickly make their way out, out down to the Batcave, while the henchmen take Batman, who is actually covered up in a blanket, and to how they do not notice or look under the blanket is surprising to me, but hey, they take the body, take him to the truck and make their way. However, they then get word that the henchmen get word that Bruce Wayne is not there, but it's someone else. They then knock out the person that's under the sheets and find out that it's actually Batman. Now, this has thrown a wrench in Batman and Robin's plan, as Batman has a tracking device in his cowl. When they hit him on the head, it destroyed the tracking system. So now Robin and Alfred have to figure out how the hell are they going to find him. We then cut to Batman in the basement, along with the female accomplice, whose mind has been shattered. And essentially he's put in this torture device to essentially, turn also Batman mad. Batman, of course, tries to tell King Tut who he used to be, try to bring that good man back. But of course, it's to no avail. King Tut is far beyond gone. King Tut is just far more villainous, and maybe this good mild man is gone forever. We then cut back to the Batcave, where Alfred and Robin have managed to deduce the location where King Tut is based on his Egyptian theme and slightly due to tracking to the last time Batman was before the tracking device went off. They realize they need to go there, but Robin's under arrest to drive the Batmobile. So guess who's driving? Alfred! Alfred gets to join in for this little adventure. We then find that Batman's mind is also slightly gone, and he's taken to the throne room, and King Tut orders him and the female accomplice to dance to Bat music, and Batman does the Bat-toozy. It's silly, over the top, but Batman brings a lot of flair. And just when you think that Batman has really finally lost it, Batman punches out two of King Tut's men and reveals that his mind was never gone, and he simply fooled him by reciting something backwards to keep his mind sane. And eventually Robin arrives and starts helping Batman fight the goons, and King Tut makes his escape. Batman and Robin finish off the goons and then go outside to figure out where King Tut is. They find Alfred knocked out, and it turns out that King Tut has stolen the Batmobile. Realizing they have no other alternative but to chase him in this mysterious truck, even though they know it will never catch up with the Batmobile, but they have no other choice. They end up chasing King Tut, but King Tut manages to outdrive him courtesy of the Batmobile. They then try to use an ejector seat from a long distance to launch King Tut out of the Batmobile, but the device isn't working. Next thing you know, the Batmobile comes back and King Tut plans to blow up the truck with Batman, Robin, and Alfred nearby. And as King Tut goes to press the button, the ejector seat explodes up, and he ejects out of the Batmobile, hits on the truck, and just as he goes to shoot Batman, Batman knocks him out. So King Tut's finally done. We then cut to We then cut back to Police Commissioner Gordon's office, with King Tut essentially still unconscious and laying on the couch, and realizing how they're going to help the man. With the police resources unable to help, Bruce Wayne comes up with the idea that they use the Wayne Foundation to possibly help, even though Chief O'Hara is skeptical whether that Bruce would actually help, considering what this guy's trying to do. Batman says that Bruce is a caring man and would gladly help. As Gordon goes to call Bruce up to possibly help, King Tut starts to wake up. But he's no longer King Tut. He's back to William H. McElroy and says he's going to be late for class. Just as he's about to leave, he sees Batman, Robin, Gordon, and Chief O'Hara and asks what has happened. Even though Batman says it's a miracle, simply a miracle, he just goes, "Whatever will the Dean say?" And we end with that episode. And so tune in for next week as Batman and Robin will be going up against the Bookworm. The cast is just the same. Gordon and O'Hara are bumbling as ever and not knowing about, with the plan to capture King Tut. Now Batman and Bruce Wayne really one and the same. I like how Alfred got to play more of a role in this and have more fun here. And Harriet is, just lovely to have on screen. And Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson, Batman, Robin by Adam West and Burt Ward are just great. They're just there, they're just there in this role. But I've really got to be honest, what I like about this second part the first time around is King Tut's performance. I feel Victor Buono is slightly understanding more about King Tut with being more crazier and out there. And at the end, where he got to be William H. McElroy as this nice, humbling man, you really got to understand what he really, I really got to understand the two dual personalities here. And I've got to admit, I like that. Now, again, he's still sane. He's not fully there yet. He's not fully crazy. He's still a bit saner. And this is coming from King Tut, who's often called the funniest and most silliest villain on the show. But even I admit, he's still not quite there yet. But I do like how he does have a bit of a temper you know, which does show, especially when he pretty much orders his, you know, henchwomen, you know, to take away, you know, to take his accomplice away. And the silliness of man-child is slightly there, but like I said, Victor Buono's performance as King Tut is, for me, not fully there, but it's still entertainable, and I feel it's a little bit better than it was in the first part, and I feel that the second part is worth watching just for that. The Pharaoh's in a Rut is, for me, the part 2 was far better than the part 1. However, do I have any problems with this episode? Well, like I said, King Tut's not fully there as what you would expect from the show, and people may not buy this character easily as they question, how does a professor get all the resources to do crimes like these? Well, I've already said in the previous episode with how, so I'm not going to explain it, but also it's a TV show. You're not supposed to take it seriously, and I think that's what makes King Tut so great in his later appearances. However, and I do find that some stuff that King Tut did here is slightly out there, such as the idea of, you know, what he does to his female accomplice, I found to be out there. Crazy. Yeah, crazy and almost evil. And to be fair, he does kind of, you know, does this to as many of his female accomplices, would often treat them badly, at least in Season 1 and Season 2. Season 3, not so much. And also, the King Tut has always had some kind of connection with Bruce Wayne in his capers in some way or another, which I kind of find to make him very unique. However, if there's one thing I can give a fault for this two-parter, is I don't really understand this plot. He wants to take over Gotham. How does he plan to do this? How does Bruce Wayne help accomplish that? That's my really main gripe and fault with this. Other than that, I say they are fun. They are not great. They are not bad. They are sort of this two-parter is sort of in the middle. And I was surprised when King Tut was brought back, but then again, I didn't mind this two-parter. And I guess if I could describe the two-parter is, you could really watch it. You have to watch it once, and you will see as the episodes go on, King Tut just becomes a far better villain. But he's not terrible. But I really can't really explain it to how I feel about these episodes. It's not bad, I hate them, but it's not good, I love them. It's in the middle, and they are fun watches, but you will notice some flaws and understand that the plot is not fully solid, but it's a fun watch nonetheless. And there it was. That was The Pharaoh's in a Rut, the part 2 to King Tut's debut episode, and here we will be seeing in future episodes one of the best villains on the show's run in later episodes, and as the performance of Victor Buono would do as the series went on. Join us next time as we review the debut episode and the only episodes of the Notorious Bookworm. So until then, tune in next time for the same Steven hour, the same Steven time, and the same Steven channel. So long for now.